Hello and welcome, one and all. I am Josh McGee. Today we're hanging out, we're chatting, we're going to talk about the campaign setting.
Yay! Let me refresh our stuff so I can see what we're doing.
Oh, you don't need to see anything. There's nothing to see. This is theater of the mind.
Theater of the mind.
So I think I'll
Yeah.
start off by immediately not being on topic. How long have you guys been playing TTRPGs? I started 2017, so that would be 7 years?
Wow.
6 years? And I started immediately as the Dungeon Master, and that's been it, you know?
Wow. What got you into starting it?
So
Starting D&D.
what happened was, we all know about it because it's pop culture. D&D it was. Especially around the time 5e was blowing up.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always been interested. I've wanted to play since I knew it existed. Pretty much since high school, 2010, 2011. I was like, D&D sounds fun, but never did anything about it. And around that time, I started asking a bunch of people, hey, do you or anybody you know play D&D? Can I hop in that? Let me play that game. And a solid like 8 to 10 people were like, no, but if you find someone, let me know. Like everyone had the same response. And yeah. So
sounds like
after
my
talking to a bunch of people
sweet
that
spot.
like love D&D but no one plays, I'm like, I gotta do it. I gotta be the person that I'm gonna be the dungeon master. And I bought the core 3 books, and actually I bought just the starter pack and got about 2 sessions into that and bought all 3 of the main books for D&D, and we went through the Adventures of Fandelver or whatever, the Mines of
Yeah.
Fandelver. We did that, which branched off into a homebrew. I think a homebrew just speaks to me and maybe most DMs. But yeah, we kind of had like a starting point there, and homebrew has been life.
Yeah. Because your original question was how did y'all
How,
start? I mean,
how did you guys start?
I've been playing since like 04
Dang.
Jeez,
or something.
you're old.
Yeah, I mean, I also
Old.
played a little bit before, but I wouldn't even count it because it was like, okay, you're kids, and it's more like,
Yeah.
I doing this thing and blah 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 with your friends, and no dice were used, no nothing.
Right.
And that one was actually like the Star Wars tabletop RPG,
Oh,
like the
really?
original one. Yeah, which was cool.
Yeah, the funky dice.
Mm, yeah. So that was cool, but in high school, yeah, that's when a friend of mine did like a cyberpunk biomancer game that was pretty sweet. I was like I was a regal regent that had animus powers. However, I lost an arm to a bone nugget in a dungeon, only for it to be replaced by a were rat's arm later on. Um, so it was pretty cool. And we had fun. It was is weird. But I think yeah, again when five like after high school going into college, no time, and then D&D 5e came out, same thing, popular people playing it. I think I actually started watching it before Critical Role was doing it because there was like Sirens of the whatever that had
Nice.
those who shall not be named anymore. They most of them have like been canceled or whatnot.
Oh no.
Um, so that and then I was the only person who had money to buy the books, so I also defaulted to being the DM of 5e because all my other
Nice.
like coworkers were like, "Oh, we'd love to play. We just need a DM, and none of us know the system." And I'm like, well, who? Anyone have the books? No, no, I don't have any money. I'm like, okay, I'll buy the books. I'll buy the DM's guide, the core set.
Mm-hmm.
Made a campaign because I don't. I'm not a fan of modules, or when I read them, there's very few modules that inspire me to play it.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I've gotten over that hump, and I can like just do it to do it now.
I feel like
But I
modules
think
are like
yeah.
wall of text. They hardly inspire me.
The other problem is that there's also usually a lot of lore you need to know versus a
Yeah.
homebrew. So
Yeah.
like when you're doing Fandelver or you're doing Strahd or any of those, you're like, okay, when they reference a god, what does that really mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
the god of Lathander protects this temple. Strahd, you may not enter. And it's like, who's Lathander? Where
Well,
should I
Strahd
look this up?
says,
One.
nah.
You know, nah. Yeah. So yeah, and I think that's where homebrew makes it easier because you just know it. It's I think we talked about something like this before. I was talking to somebody. It's like writing your own very technical song versus playing someone else's very technical song.
Yeah. You just understand it.
Yeah. So
It
I've been
helps you
playing for a
connect a little
bit.
better too.
Yeah. Like a couple more years and it'll be a full 20 years.
Dang,
No, yeah.
that's
Happy-
crazy.
Yeah.
Happy
That's why I'm such a-
TTRPG anniversary.
A great DM and player. Totally.
The longer you play, it makes you better, right?
No. Oh, we can save that for a different question because you need to answer this. But I would love to circle back to that because there's something I saw that referenced that, but we'll wait.
Well, we'll jump through my side then because it's pretty short actually. So I had a weird relationship with TTRPGs because I grew up with a conservative background. So it wasn't the satanic panic, but it was the aftershocks of it that I grew up with. So it was like, stay away from the Dungeons and Dragons. But you can listen to metal. That's fine. So it was a little bit after high school, maybe a little during high school too. So to age myself as fairly young, that was 2013, my senior year. I started listening to a few TTRPG podcasts, most notably Glass Cannon podcast, and I really enjoyed their stuff. So I actually had wanted to play Pathfinder for years, and just couldn't fit anyone who was your wizard kind of situation. So all my spells were like bow effects. Yeah, and the rest is Bob's your uncle.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Do we want to jump into my little story about time versus whatever making you a good
Yeah,
D&D
yeah.
player?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's derail
So-
the derail.
Yeah, no, I always see. So there's other podcasts, and some of them are great, but it's just like my brain works when you say something little, it's stupid, but then I'll like kind of spiral out and be like, I wonder about that. So
Yeah.
I was like talking to the AARPG guys, and they're like, we have over a century of gaming. I'm like, yeah, cool, and they're great. They do a great job. But then my brain was like, but that doesn't mean. I mean, they're good at what they do,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean that someone else who would use that same logic is good at what they do.
Correct.
Just because like there are people who are like, I've been doing this one thing for 80 years, and it's like, okay, well, you should be an expert at it, and then you play with them or do whatever, and it's like, oh no, you got past that, and now you're just stuck in a rut and you can't accept anything outside of it, and
Yep.
you went from being like an okay player to now a horrible player. And who cares if you have over a century of experience between the 3 or 4 or 5 of you, because it doesn't matter anymore because you stopped being fun to play with.
Correct.
Because I think the real thing of like people who I don't think it necessarily is time. I think time helps definitely, but it's a mindset of just being like, I don't care what system we're gonna play. The rules are the same. I mean, that was our kind of our critique for Daggerheart is like, there's not enough rules there to be a system.
Yeah.
And the things that they do suggest is like, you can do that in any system. It's have fun, be open, and ask questions, and yes
Right.
and or yes but somebody. So whenever you- yeah, I'm just gonna say whenever you hear someone, because this also came up in a Joe Rogan podcast, and we're automatically gonna be like demonetized or pulled for this. But whenever someone's like, for centuries with like hundreds of people, and what is like, no, that doesn't matter. That is not facts at all or
Yeah.
feelings. It is just vapid words being used to create an illusionary objective. Like you, between the three of us, we have like what 50 years worth of like play. So
Mhm.
like whatever.
Probably closer to about 45, but
Yeah.
who's counting?
So it's like time, that doesn't mean anything.
No,
Sorry,
that's
my rant's done.
No, that's 100% like that always bothered me when like As someone who is an aspiring graphic designer and getting into like photography and stuff now, it drives me absolutely up a wall when I'm reading through someone's like website bio or whatever, or like a business's website bio, and it's like, between the five of us, we have over 90 years of welding experience. And you're like, what do you fucking mean between the? No, you guys have like 30 years each.
Yeah.
That's not 90 years of experience.
No,
That's
like
30 years individually.
All of you
you're
got
probably
about
not good at it.
you all got 30 weekends sharing one weld machine.
Like,
Well,
Jesus, you know?
Yeah, and then to go back to welding or anything, like over the course of 10 years, things change. So like again, if you're a doctor or DM or whatever, it's like, yeah, you were good during your favorite edition, but now that we're in 5e, sorry, your 2e skills are not being helpful right now if you're not able to actually use the rules that are put out.
Your 2e skills.
Yeah.
Everyone really does go back to 2e, don't they?
I mean, mechanically, 2e is the closest to 5e, and you can mod things over pretty easily.
Wow.
So,
Know that.
yeah.
That's my skill gap.
Yeah.
2E skills.
Oh, man.
All right, I'm gonna inject our next actual talking point here. My talking point says, describe the overall setting of your current campaign. So, I would say it's your typical fantasy world, somewhat medieval. I try to keep it as magical as I can make it without being overwhelming myself. I would say it's like a pre. Dang, what's that called? Yeah, industrial.
Pre-Victorian?
No, that's not it. Steampunk, like a pre-steampunk.
Well, I'm gonna split hairs here. Steampunk is set in like a Victorian era, just with clockwork stuff. So
pretty much pre-industrial.
You just saying it's pre-industrial.
Pre-industrial, yeah, that's fine. But going for like that
industrial Victorian,
leading towards the steampunk feel, but it's magic instead of steam. Less clunky noises in general.
Actually, I think it's stones.
It is Stone Age. It's Stone Age. It's pre-Stone Age.
Somehow less clunky still.
I believe you mean it's post Crystal Mommy.
It is.
Crystal Mommy punk.
But,
If that's not a band out there yet, it needs to be. Hit us up.
You know what we need in our campaign setting is a bunch of Wookiees.
Wrong setting.
Not Star Wars. Like, do you know what a Wookiee is?
I only know Wookiees from a Star Wars standpoint. Is there is another one?
Streaming.
Yeah, so it actually kind of comes from Star Wars a little bit, but basically what a Wookiee is all those like rave people that have dreadlocks and do the hippie aesthetic.
Yeah.
Those are Wookiees when they're not actually like part of the like hipster lifestyle and they're more like leeches on the scene and everything. Those are Wookiees. So like we totally need like a Terry of Wookiees.
They a lot of the Wookiees you described were just massacred.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
We actually had a whole city state of those people. Unfortunately, they're not too good at fighting, so.
True. If there's no acid and there's no EDM music being played, they're very not useful at anything.
Nice. A lot of the talking points I have are not specific, so we're dipping into all of them, so we'll probably circle around a couple times, but we'll get there,
Yeah, we'll get there, man.
Okay. We do need a Crystal Punk Mommy Wookiee one shot.
Okay, yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
I think we can make that happen.
Yeah.
We definitely can. Anything's possible.
And Alex isn't here, so I'm going to go ahead and volunteer him as the DM.
Yeah.
As you should.
He'll love it.
Hey, you're the DM of something we came up with. And it's not a joke, it's real. Alright, my other sub point for the setting overview is for me to highlight, or if you guys recognize anything, to highlight any distinctive features or elements that that make our setting apart from others.
Honestly, I kind of want us to lean more into crystal tech and crystal like. I don't know how much you know of like the Atlantis mythos because it's all fiction anyway. But like, because it goes with the steampunk, except for like crystal punk stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's what sets us apart. Like, I know that other systems have like magic and crystals, but having set the sentient crystals and like there's actually kind of like a karmic effect that happens when you use them. Like, if we lean more into that, that would be cool. But I think that's what sets us apart.
We are down one today, Apollo. That's correct.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to pull Twitch up so I can actually read.
Yeah.
Pour one out for
pouring out
for Alex.
Pour it out into your mouth.
I was gonna pour it into this cup. I have coffee in this cup, and I was like, I don't want that.
I don't even have a drink.
Yeah, big fail.
Press F to pay
All kinds of
respects.
fail.
For real.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I definitely want to lean more that direction. More Magitech.
Yeah.
Well, I also like something that you were open to that we don't see a lot of, at least I feel like you don't see a lot of other campaigns lean into, is actually using runes and having like a rhyme or reason to using them. Because
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of other campaigns would be like, oh, this box was covered in magical characters. You know what I mean?
With
Yeah.
no
But,
real
like,
weight.
having like an actual like when we were describing the ships last season, like starting to build them, like you actually had to interact with the runes to make them work, you know. And then having the airships come in now, like covered in runes that like they have to actually like pour magic into and stuff. Like, I don't think a
that's
lot
true.
of systems use that normally.
I feel like a lot of
Whereas
stories
a lot
in
of
general
books-
reference like an old technology or old magic.
Yeah.
But like we're in the era of like this is the stuff you're talking about, like Breath of the Wild, like all this crazy old tech and magic that no one fully understands, but like this is the era of that stuff that's gonna be forgotten.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
and that's what I wanted to do with the wotc game, the barrier stone, you know, covered in runes. You had to actually do runes instead of just magic.
Yeah.
and we had to actually make like a sacrifice and shit, which kind of goes alongside with your Atlantis mythos, because I'm fairly familiar with Atlantis mythos, not super familiar, fairly, and you're gonna make fun of me.
No, I was gonna go
triggered
off
me-
about Atlantis.
No, that's a
What-
different
if tri-
stream, James. We know you can talk about it for an hour and a half, just
Wait,
for like an
so-
intro.
What triggered me into learning about Atlantis is Disney,
Yeah.
Oh,
the
of
Atlantis movies, and then realizing like, oh shit, they actually use the mythos fairly appropriately.
course. Nice.
So I like that, like, to James's point, like we have started using the crystals. There are some kind of runes for us to work alongside, and the runes have weight. So like you have to sacrifice something, or you have to take magic and pour it into it. You know what I mean? There's spirits in the crystals. Like, I think that really sets us apart from other podcasts that are just like, yeah, so the Ioun stones are batteries, and that box is covered in little magic characters. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think it also goes to where we try to focus on our gameplay a little bit, because I think we all kind of align with that, where it's like we want more of that mysticism and more of the, like, we want rituals and traditions to actually be part of the gameplay, not only to like make it harder but fun at the same time. Because
real.
yeah, because like I have a whole thing, and I haven't given it to Josh at all, but like in my homebrew game, you know, my arcane locks for doors aren't necessarily like you have to be able to cast the unlock spell. It's like, no, you have to be able, like, you need a certain tier of magic to open this door, you know, but it's open for anyone who has it. And then there's locked versions that require higher level tiers or something. Like, you have to know how to do pass with stone, whatever, to do it. So it actually makes magic part of the everyday life. Because I think a lot of other podcasts too, like, yes, magic is everywhere, and you have magic cars and magic televisions. It's like, okay, but like, what about when I want to cook, or I'm just like doing this other thing? And I know that we try to do that a bit more.
Yeah.
What about
I
our
feel like
magical
I just
plumber?
gotta sit there and read the
Yeah.
the spell book. Like, I want magic to be like on screen all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that kind of goes along with like even how we portrayed like Speak with Dead. Like, a lot of other podcasts would just be like, okay, I cast Speak with Dead. Okay, what happens? But like I made up a little silly jingle to go for it,
Yeah.
and actually made my character look for it in their spell book.
Yeah.
It's your turn to do jingles this season or this
It
campaign.
is. It is.
I just get to smash things. I like that.
The necessary barbarian.
Yeah. Although I'm trying not to do like rage based barbarian, because although they are a zealot, which should be like the most rage, it's because we skipped to 10th level. I think there's some story elements that we could pull later, but like they learned how to turn it on and off during their time of self discovery. So it's more like they like become almost like peaceful and tune into it versus I'm Super Saiyan.
The Zen barbarian.
Kinda, yeah.
The Zen barbarian.
All right, I'm gonna move forward again. This is a little more face value, maybe literally, maybe punfully. The
Six.
overview of the geography in the world. I think we've, of course, between us, we've gone over this quite a few times. But to put it out there, Fimaros has 6 major continents. Each one, in the meta, is represented by a D&D attribute: strength, dexterity, constitution, so forth. And I want the people of the cities to at least either portray the core or be like a foil to it in one way, like someone that's not strong going to Edifos because it's a crutch for them works.
Yeah.
But that's I guess there's not much to talk about there, but that exists. The cities represent something.
Well, that also goes. I mean, you and I talked a little bit about like my weapons are. I don't know how much you'll want to do with this later, but like the weapons I have are based around strength for Edifos, and then the Argos is Constitution.
That's right.
Yeah, so like my weapons reduce someone's strength or reduce their Constitution. But I also do feel like, because we're going back to the stones, that narratively would be a fun thing where it's like the stones that are in those cities, if they are in those, you haven't officially told us, but if they are somewhere in the city, that they're like magic aura, like either boosts or pulls from, or like subtly subconscious influences, because they are living creatures, kind of.
Yeah.
Judge is like, I cannot.
I don't know what I can share now.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're getting the
I'm just
spoiler
gonna
territory.
spitball. I'm gonna spitball things, and I feel like I'm getting close to some knowledge. But I think it would be fun.
Yeah, but when I
'cause
don't know if I
we're-
can respond or not, you're going the right direction.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'll diverge a little bit back to
You gotta
myself.
change
'cause I'm good
notes
at that.
now.
I'm
No,
good at talking about
that's
myself.
okay.
But for my barbarian, what we didn't talk about it, but I thought it would be fun if every city had like a family that had like a weapon that was tied to the stone. So like I
Right.
have 2 of the 6, and if I can find one in our new town, because it's a new one, I would want it. And also it's weirdly like they're like a martial relative instead of a familial relative. So like whoever owns it is like, cousin,
Nice.
let
Yeah.
me see if you're worthy of that blade or whatever it is,
Yeah.
gun, bow,
We can do a
something.
little campfire history check thing.
Yeah.
Once again, this should be familiar for you guys, but the 6 stones are, well, the 6 cities were people. Like the names are the people that had the stones of virtue, the original 6 stones of virtue that were in the center. They were all together, one big city. Then OG Ogratis attacked because he wants the stones.
Zanog, yeah.
Sure. So those 6 people took the stones away from the major city. So, what you said earlier, the core of the cities is the core of the whatever magical energy is being produced. And they all have a precise radius of how much land is blessed, so to say.
Is it equal to the city walls?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Maybe.
Maybe.
All right, we'll move past that. That's a little story time for you.
You're like, oh no, I'm letting James riff off of my notes.
No, you're doing great.
They're
This is
gonna
what I
figure
want to
out
happen.
all of my plot points.
You should figure it out. That's
Yeah.
part of the fun.
I mean, my
I will
character
say
won't
that-
know, though.
I will say that's one thing that like with our campaigns that like Josh has always been pretty good with is if we decide like there's been plenty of times when we decide something on the spot and Josh will normally just run with it.
Yep, that's in the
He'll
world
just be
now.
like, yep. Okay, I guess that's what's happening now. Let me
Yeah.
just fix my notes up. Very, very, very few times has Josh been like, no, that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Unless it's like physics based, that's the only time I'm like, shut your mouth. And even then, there's been like, the nat 20, and we're like, you know what, fuck it. You throw a wagon 18 miles and hit the creature.
I forgot about that.
All right, my next talking point says share the backstory of the world, but we just did that, so very nice. Include important organizations, religious, and cultures. Every city has a strong culture. We discussed before. I would like to say the Battle Arena board game, card game I'm making represents an actual like sport that each city has a team for, and they have mascots and stuff.
What?
So you could meet someone that's like a professional Battle Arena person.
Okay, but is like Edifos the crag crawlers?
No, I think I it's in my notes. I have to do the deep dive.
Whoop.
Whooper. Whoop whooper. The crowd goes nuts. There it is.
Oh, I was
The
about
whole-
to do that.
Good old Discord.
Here it is. Oh, they don't use the word mascot. They say mythic monarch. Edifos. Animal, dragon, color, red. Xylea. Griffin, orange. Argos. Kraken, yellow. Thumvira. Sphinx, green. Gonimia. Unicorn, blue. Valmoda. Chimera, purple.
Okay, now I know I haven't ran into any dragons yet.
There.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, I didn't think dragons aren't in this setting. I don't remember.
They
Well,
are.
I think they're in the setting, but like very loosely, because like we've met one dragonborn, and it was in a
Right.
one shot that was set in the universe,
Right.
very loosely in the setting.
Mhm.
Are they across the sea? Is this something that Alex's character would know better?
Dragons?
Yeah.
So the thing about dragons is they're smart.
True.
And,
No way.
I just had
The-
a short about that.
the government of
They're like
Vimeros is what we all have come to realize not great. There's tiny cities that are organized land, and the rest is chaos.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a couple dragon layers throughout the Outlands.
I mean, I think it would also make sense that the dragons keep their distance because, like, the stones
The
do
stones are
give like mortals wicked power
Yes.
upgrades. So like,
yes.
Mm-hmm.
even if they got close and they were going, like one ancient dragon was gonna try. Like, ancient dragons as written are kind of
Yeah.
weak, unless you mod them out.
Yeah.
But also them knowing that, I imagine a dragon would also be able to like commune with a stone
right.
better or
probably
talk
pretty
to it.
easily.
So like,
Yeah. And
Something.
humanoids are dumb. So
Yeah.
their history bookkeeping is like, oh, good enough, doesn't benefit me. But dragons, I feel like they're word of mouth and they're old.
yeah,
It's still pretty recent in their memory, like, let's not mess with Vimeros.
yeah. I think this is more of a world building question. Like,
Yeah.
in your setting,
Mm-hmm.
how often do dragons like stake out lands or try to reproduce? Yeah, I know. That was like, I'm trying to frame this question.
Yeah. So I
'Cause I
was
know what I do
wondering,
for my game,
when
like,
do
yeah.
dragons be fucking? I'd probably just say as needed. You know,
Yeah.
there's no
Well,
rituals around it, or
I don't know about you guys, but I've always imagined dragons that's like willfully like seen, like willingly seen as primordial. You know what I mean? But highly intelligent, very sophisticated. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like, like we know when we need more of us kind of
Yes.
situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
really aware.
Hyper.
I mean, if we want to go change this to a dragon podcast, then we could also just talk about like certain dragons would also be wary of making more dragons because they would
Yeah.
lose power,
Yeah.
no, I agree.
and not necessarily evil ones too. Like some of the D&D
Yeah, some of the-
metallic dragons would also do that. They're just concerned with having a bunch of young wormlings around, causing chaos and ruining their balance and peace.
Mm-hmm. No, totally
So-
agree.
Since it took me a
Except
minute
those
to
silver
find
dragons.
it, I will now
Yeah.
be putting the my wonderful, beautiful artwork of the city's icons, what you might see on, badges and patches and flags, on the stream. It's working. There it is. This is their colors
Oh.
and their symbols.
Ah, there it is. There we go.
Yeah.
Cool. I think my character would probably be like a Argos. What was it?
What, the Krakens?
Kraken's fanboy.
I feel like All's Weather is definitely Gonimia unicorn for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta rep the home base, you know.
Yep. These are real questions. Who's your home team?
I wear nothing but yellow jerseys and Krakens. Yeah,
Krakens.
I'm like Belgian. Kraken yellow.
Team Green.
At some point, if we ever have enough fans, someone will probably, if we bring it back up, do a logo for those
Yeah.
or design jerseys.
Like the
sure.
the actual mascot look.
You gotta leave
No,
some
what-
room
yeah.
for them to do stuff, right?
Yeah, we can't do it all.
No.
No.
No, like really, we can't do it all.
Oh, do you mind for a tangent at the moment? Because this is it's
Yeah.
a genius idea that I saw.
Yeah. That's what I came here for. That's why you guys were invited. It's just
Yeah.
pop up as a
So you're
monologue.
not here. Okay, so Fallout I'm gonna do the stream of logic here. Fallout TV show came out, so obviously I'm like, oh cool. There's also a Fallout tabletop game. Reading through the Fallout
Yeah.
tabletop game, I get followed by the Modifius, which is the publisher of the new Fallout game, by their PR agent, which is cool.
Yeah.
I see on their Twitters and whatnot that they have a special advertisement going now where if you make a minute long content about one of their new games, not the Fallout one, but a different one, a minute long content, whether it's like a how to play, cosplay, fun video, whatever, and you tag them in it, you have a chance to win $500.
Wow.
But you have to be under 1,000, under 1,000 subs to do it.
Wow.
And then there's
qualify.
5 others so that's the top prize, and 5 other people will win $100 of like in-store credit for Modifius.
Yeah.
Genius, because one, it targets all the indie small creators who don't know their worth yet, and potentially makes them buy the game. Like if they're going to do an actual play stream, you got to buy the game or buy the rules or whatever, so they'll make a little
Yep.
bit of money.
Yeah.
And then just the free advertisement, because you only have to choose one person to give $500 to, and the rest in-store credit really means it's like $50 per thing.
All right.
Genius marketing. I
100%.
need to interview that person.
So now, tell me what it was like in the room when this idea came out. Did everyone just immediately orgasm?
Because I did. No, but no, it's just a clever marketing. Like you know, they know that indie creators are kind of their market and
Yeah.
smaller groups, because you can't go up against Wizards directly, even though people dislike it. But to be like, no, we want to build a community, and if we're going to build a community, we want to foster indie creators. We don't want it to go to Dice Cream Sandwich or Critical Role or all these other people who have over 1,000 followers that are like whatever,
Yeah.
and honestly probably charge us $700 to feature it. We'll say our budget is like 950. Okay, $500 prize, in-store credit. Genius.
It really is a fantastic idea.
Yeah. So we all got a system and $500
So what? That was about a minute long just now, right?
Yeah, so turn it into a short, put it out there. Except for we have to actually talk about the system, not about the company.
Well, you mentioned the systems.
Oh, I
a
did
few
not
times.
the right one though, because it's like
okay.
Dream Machine or something.
There we go. You just mentioned it.
I gotta look it up. I gotta make sure it's right.
That's good marketing. What was that one thing? I think it was this.
I think it was this one game that I haven't heard about.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's in their Discord.
I am excited though to see coming back to Vimros. I'm excited to see a little bit more how we expand on the world of Vimros here, because I mean, like the idea of like now that there's like some sports teams there and stuff. Like we've been playing in Vimros, at least Josh and I and Alex, for 4 years now.
I hope not. I think it's true though. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been about 4 years. I think this is year 4 right now, but like, seriously playing in Vimros for probably about 2 years.
Because I was in Iowa when I had the brainchild, not birthchild, the brainchild of Vimros, which was originally just Edifos.
Yeah. Yeah, because we played a few like smaller settings for a little bit, and then we jumped into Vimros. This would have been it's been about 4 years, because it was at the height of the pandemic. I remember because it was at the height of how many bottles of wine I could go through in a week.
I definitely, since joining, it is interesting to see I don't know how much you feel like it's changed though over the course of doing it.
I don't know.
No, that's like exactly what I mean, is that like I'm really excited to see like how much more it changes over time as we play through it, because like even since like we first started playing, like we've gone to the Terrys where people don't remember like where they're from or who they are. You know what I mean? We've made jokes here and there about like the Brenda Masteries, and then the like experimental places where like Galdreth and all of them were at, you know?
Yeah.
I apologize, I'm a little bit of a narcissist, so I remember all my characters, but not
Right.
You're doing great. No, you're doing great. The one shots, I feel like, are one of the best ways to like put the world out there, because we got our main. Here's the main camera. Here's the main characters. That like, what else is going on in the world? It's not just a discussion. Like we play through it. That's great. I like the one shots a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a ton of fun. I'm excited to see how it continues to grow. Like, especially now that we do, like, again, knowing that they're like sports teams and stuff. Like 100%, I'm gonna reference them when we come back into session next week. You know, I'm gonna find a way to bring up like, you know, so who are you rooting for now that Thalmoda's obviously out of the running? You know.
I even made up like a whole like a bracket for them, like a double elimination bracket. Like no one's ever gonna know, no one's ever gonna see it, but it's in my brain somewhere.
What I'm saying, this stuff it's really neat to see it like grow like this, you know. I'm excited to like be in this for a couple, like even if it's a couple more years of doing this, I'm excited to see where eventually an audience can take this to. You know what I mean? Like when we've actually gotten this into a setting where people can play through on their own, and it's not just us like, you know, jaunting around Vimros.
Yep. The current year in Vimros, it's illegal to be a sorcerer. Which which is interesting. No, you're talking about other people playing, so I guess maybe that's like the first thing you gotta think about. It could be a sorcerer that the law never found.
Well, and I like something. I made a joke on TikTok to James the other day. Something that there's a video James posted about magic users in their campaign. I think we touched on it a little bit earlier. Needing a license to use magic, and I like the idea that like as time goes on, because like our previous campaign in Vimros was 10 years ago in game time. You know what I mean? So a lot can happen in those 10 years, especially since like with Josiah's situation of like what's going on with him and Nikita training him and everything. Like there's now a flying city where the main leader is like, yeah, sorcerers are cool, but maybe we have a license, to practice magic, just so we keep things safe. You know what I mean?
Honestly, it makes sense to have a license. And
right?
Like, not like, if you don't mind me talk about my homebrew world a little bit, about why I chose that for mine. Basically, it came from the same logic of like, once an adventurer gets too strong, if they are not in pocket by a agency or something, the local establishment is gonna want to take them out. Like you have Zanog level whatever raising dead as a potential army. Hell no, you gotta go kill that guy. Like you can't, the power that they are wielding, and if they can get to 20th level, it's like a race against the clock now. Because the stronger people you send, you're just gonna power them up. So you got to send enough people out there the first time to kill him before he raises them back up, and levels up, and then comes and destroys the city. And it's like, this is now all mine.
Sounds just like him.
Yeah.
Alex, where are you at?
And that's where like a license would like slow people down or give a reason to basically have a registry of magic users that you can keep track of better, and that if they step out of line, you fine them, jail them, whatever. Do it too many times, you take them out.
Or you put the Ion Stone or the Harmonic Spirit, whatever it's called here.
Yeah.
Of counterspell into their bones.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Take their magic.
Yeah.
But like stuff like that is
magic.
like that's 100%. That's 100% how this world can evolve to like, you have a player who wants to legitimately play a sorcerer. Like all of us have been open to being like, okay, yeah, fine, I get it, no sorcerers, But say we bring in a fourth player and they really want to be a sorcerer.
Dragonborn sorcerer.
All right.
You gotta be a registered sorcerer.
Yep. Yeah. Be careful. Be careful who you do magic around.
Yeah.
As a sorcerer.
Because I think that's how it is kind of now, even with non-sorcerers, is like,
right.
You don't want to be using your spells in the city, otherwise the local
any place you walk into, can ask you to hang up your sword. But when you can just cast magic, they're like,
yeah.
Please leave your tongue on the door.
Leave your tongue on the door.
Well, and that's where in my home game, I think even in this one, we could probably do more of is like businesses having more runes or glyphs that like just cast, counterspell or whatever, or silence or something. So like the moment someone starts doing a vocal somatic spell, a rune inside the business is just like silence. Doesn't even have to be a counterspell. Just like, nope, you can't do anything with vocal stuff anymore. Exactly.
That's perfect.
Exactly. Or it petrifies the target. Another one.
Yeah.
Can't move if you're frozen.
Which kind of goes up even back to like what we like about our system a lot.
Yeah.
Is that we have this crystal magic and we have runes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next thing here is talk about races, playable races, all of them. Every playable race
good thing
exists
you said playable.
in Vimros. And I have said since day one that Vimros is more of the least common types would be humans, dwarves, elves, and one more. I don't remember. But
I think you said dragonborns when I started. Like that was rare. Or a no-go.
Yeah.
But anyways, I've done a shit job of actually making that look real. Because every time I'm like, oh, who's this character? Oh, it's an elf. Like,
It's a whose score? A dwarf?
Yep.
yeah, yeah,
Nomi is a no? Question mark.
yeah.
With the heart of a titan.
With the heart of a titan, Nomi teleports in to save us one last time with his machinations.
The heart of a titan.
And then charges us 5,000 gold pieces because we burned through all of his magic items.
Again.
Again.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I remember when we first started you told us that like, the
Halfling.
most
Halfling was
common
what I was thinking.
races. You told us the most common races would be less common.
Yeah.
But the only race that was 100% off the table was Dragonborn because you had a very specific few that were actually like out in the world, and eventually we would run into them.
I forgot
And
about that.
so far, the only one we ran into was in a one-shot, and I think
forgot
he
about
was a
that.
jailer or a warden.
The reason I said that was our previous campaign, our PCs became the original Dragonborn.
Oh yeah, I remember.
But I
that.
forgot about that. So yeah, that's fake news, I guess. I could try to get that back on track, but that was I forgot.
Well, that's how... I didn't do it on purpose, but I think that's also why I went towards the Wanti when I was like, are Wanti allowed in the game? And you're like, oh yeah. I'm like, cool. So there's snake people.
Yeah.
I can totally play with snake people.
Mhm.
Because I just like visually didn't want to look human, or like I wanted
Yeah.
less humanoid looking
Yeah.
creatures.
Right. Nice.
I just went halfling because it fits the stature.
Halfling in real life, halfling in the game.
Exactly.
That's gonna be my next character. If why I forgot my character's name already.
I
Ebergard,
know.
his last name. He dies. I think I'm just gonna be a newsy boy. I'm gonna be like a bard newsy. Just like,
Maybe,
hello everybody, welcome,
Wait,
welcome to Vimros.
you could be the newsboy from the very
Yeah.
first episode. He's
You could
like
be-
20 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New sticker Timony.
Yeah.
My name's New Sticker Timony. You know, long ago I was influenced by a halfling who said that
Wait,
one day
who-
I'd do great and wonderful things.
Who waved
And
his
then there was
firearms
this-
at me when I was 8 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I threatened to shoot him too.
First, you flashed the weapon. It was a good time.
You know, I saw my
Oh,
life
man.
flash before my eyes and it looked bleak, so I decided to go on adventures. And look at me now. I got guns.
If this isn't your next character.
I just gotta remember, if I fully think that my barbarian will probably die because they're not a baritone, so they're not resistant to everything.
Yeah.
Which, when you have fire damage and all the other things that you like to throw at us, I'm pretty sure is gonna die pretty quick.
You do
That'd
have
be
a grave cleric in here now, and
True.
I can straight up like once a day. Oh, you're at 0 HP. Now you're not.
True.
You know?
So I gotta kill 2
But
people
I-
in one day, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
You do. Yeah.
You gotta
have
choose
to
which
kill
one to
both of
save.
us. That is true. That is true. Or you just kill the cleric.
Kill the
Yeah.
cleric. Kill the caster.
cleric, kill the party.
Alright, so we went over races and classes. Going up the hierarchy, let's talk factions. You guys are notably part of Agent 15, kind of a self-made faction. I guess most factions are self-made. But there's the military. And I would say like guilds for like just your standard jobs are probably some of the biggest factions. Am I missing something?
No.
All right. So just like the different trades would be different factions, and then everyone that has decided to get a Terry, they're running their own little thing. UNT is obviously a faction. They got a couple Terrys. Any heavy factions would probably do best outside the city walls. Because
Well, Bex is a faction now, and so is the Wanty.
Yeah, because I imagine most people starting a faction are probably operating outside the law. Yeah, maybe.
Can't
Most
argue.
likely.
Yeah.
Can't argue.
Well, I think that I don't know how much you can answer, but Josiah's original like Little Baron army that got dissolved right at the Battle of
For
Edge
the
Creek,
most
or
part,
whatever
yeah.
we want to call it.
Yeah, there's only a
When-
few survivors, and after that, there's some people kept dying.
I
Well,
think
I'm pretty-
Agent 15 swooped in and just kind of assimilated them.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm pretty sure that Agent 15, because most of them, if I remember right, most of us went on like a trek through the mountains. Oh wait, no. Oh no. Most of us went on a trek through the mountains, and then what's his name? I can't remember his name now because it's been over a year. Eye Patch Dude died, and then we were teleported away, but we had a camp of people in the mountains of Edifos, and we went to that little Terry where Nomi was at and the senator, and just left all those people there
Oh.
on the side of a mountain.
I'm trying to remember when and where this was.
This would have been right at the
Oh,
beginning of the betrayal. Remember?
I remember, yeah, because you set up you're like, this is a safe place. I'm leaving.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're like, this is a safe place, and then we're like, we're gonna go scout out the area, and then we
You're-
ran
well-
into the senator and his
Yeah.
his mining buddy.
The guacamole.
Yeah, the guacamole.
Yeah?
Oh goodness.
You were just about to start your Terry, but shit went south and you had to leave. You teleported out all the way out of Edifos. You were gonna have a Terry with
We
a little
were.
militia, but it was not safe for you to try it. So your little, I mean, you're different PCs now, but your little militia Terry is probably still there.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't tell them ever to leave, so
Yeah.
I can only imagine that they stuck around there.
Yep.
I guess we'll have to talk about that and figure out how we feel on that. Did they make their own Terry? Did they feel abandoned? Did I come back at some point and offer them some time in Ormos?
I would lean towards they felt abandoned. The leader will lead the way. They're not here.
Where did he go?
While we're talking world building and factions and stuff, fun fact you guys probably know, Agent 15 is an acronym.
What?
Yeah. How do I get here?
It's not a disco club?
No. Agent 15. Argos, Gonimia, Edifos, Nolmaros, Thumvira, Xylea, Valmoda. So, yeah.
Ah. There we go. That makes sense.
Can you say that one more time? I was slightly distracted figuring out moderation
How to be moderated.
controls.
What was it?
Yeah.
Argos, Gonimia, Edifos, Nolmaros,
Nolmaros,
Nolmaros, Thambira, Xylea,
Valmoda.
Valmoda.
Oh,
That's it.
good
Yeah.
job.
Very well done.
Good job.
I was listening.
You
Kinda.
did great. There's a bunch of made up words that you remembered.
Yeah. Well, I remember Nolmaros because I specifically used that in the 1T to be like, no, they want to return to Nolmaros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's when they were in power.
Nolmaros, the land of no walls.
Yeah. Only the invisible scent walls that the 1T have.
Mm-hmm.
And they're big stones.
They're big stones.
Big stones. Notable locations are cities and terries. Deal with it. That's your only options, I think.
Well, I'm curious about any lore you and Alex have come up with for Across the Sea, because he said he was stationed
Yeah.
on a different continent.
I way to not dive into that. Alex,
Oh, I'll just make up stuff up then.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I do.
There-
I will
There
say.
are some. I guess they're considered terries, but they would be like isles, like small islands that are all part of Nullmaros technically, or the Outlands, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
Well, how big is the map that we see, like in relation to our world globe?
Do you still have those pictures I sent you?
Is
Yeah.
it like US sized or is it smaller?
It's probably smaller than the U.S. size.
Yeah. But I
Oh,
believe that we decided the planet itself was pretty small, so it takes up a big portion of the planet.
Yeah, it's probably like a third of the planet. Which I
I
guess
wish I
counts.
had.
The realm, I should say.
Let me see if I can find the image.
So there's plenty of, I mean, that just gives us more space to explore in later seasons, campaigns, and whatnot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, I still really like the idea, and there's a character I would really like to play again one day, and I've thrown it at
Yeah.
Josh before. I like the idea that our past campaign is connected to this in a way. Maybe like not directly, because I
It
don't
might
like
be a
the idea of
multiverse
pulling
situation.
in. Yeah, 'cause I don't like the idea of pulling in like Van Delver
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, that campaign.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, even past ones, 'cause I would love. There's an old cleric go figure. I would love to play again as well. But this specific character, I would love to come back as a reborn, trying to figure out like what happened to me. You know what I mean? So I like the idea that either across the realms or on another continent, this character is there. You know. If I could find the stupid thing that I made for us, I would show you I would at least drop it in our Discord so you could see the size of the planet.
Oh, I have that on speed dial actually, because I used it to make the intro.
Come on, Josh.
Wait a second.
Well,
Hold on.
I do
Hold on,
like
wait.
that Jacob, you and I both have like a little bit of our backstories that call to the last campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Because like my character, their dad died during that battle, and then but otherwise, I don't think really connected to any of the other players or creatures. Yeah. I see
Come on,
on
come
our
on!
screen- Yeah.
Oh no!
Get ready. Oh, now we're something. We're all over the place.
Don't worry, I fixed it.
Oh,
It's
I'm there.
not quite
Dude.
fixed.
Oh no, it's only kind of fixed.
Why that happened?
Look at those boxies.
Good. Glad that happened.
It's all because we wanted you all to see things. Sorry, that derailed me just a bit. You were saying, James?
Oh, just that I'm glad that we have like some pull back to the last
Yeah.
campaign. I am curious about Alex's character, because I remember he's like, I'm just a normal guy. I'm like, you're not just a normal guy. You're
Yeah.
sick or something. There's
Who's
some
voraciously hungry.
voraciously hungry. You got something going on. We gotta see you with your shirt off. I bet.
Look, look, I have a theory on what it is, and I don't want to say it out loud because I don't want Josh to confirm or deny it on accident.
I can, like, leave
But
for 2
I'll send it
minutes.
to you in a message.
Yeah.
But I have a
off my
theory.
beverage.
Yeah, I like that we
Uh-oh.
both us two have ties to the last campaign. You know.
Yeah.
It's part of why I like playing characters with long lifespans, so you can give them like a lot of history in the world. Like Allsweather, I believe she is 247, so about middle-aged for an Eladrin. 'Cause I believe they lived to about 500, if I remember right from the lore. And her whole thing is like she's seen cities but like senators come and go, and she does her thing for her goddess now. She tried doing the "I'm a hero for the world" thing and didn't work out.
Yeah. Question for Josh: do senators get elected by term, or are they in that position for life?
So there's the military. Each senator has a branch. There's the military senator that does it through the military hierarchy. They're like a general and a commander, and then they just get the senator spot for a city.
Okay.
I think there's only one of the three that's actually elected.
Okay.
Well, three.
Because yeah, I was thinking that in that case, like if an Eldrin or elf or somebody who lived forever, just thinking how long they would have the spot for, whether it's like 10 years or till they die or quit or
Term
retire.
limits.
Yeah, term limits. We should have more term limits for a lot of our politicians and Supreme Court justices. Just saying.
Especially in Vimros.
Especially in Vimro. But in real world too, we should have term limits.
I will say I agree 100%. I also don't like immortal elves. Feel free to change my mind. I like long-lived elves. 1,000 years feels like, okay, you really lived a long time. 5,000 years, all right, you've really lived a long time. 10,000 plus, please someone kill this thing.
Yeah.
It's no longer humanoid at that point. Take it out. So I like 1,000-year elves personally, because it's also like you guys think of the gene pool and like how many people are out there like I'm rolling an elf as my character. Excuse me, your race lives immortally. How often are they actually reproducing?
Right. I have two tangents. You can pick one or the other. One is a book tangent, and the other one is a lich tangent.
Oh no.
That's hard.
Well, I mean, do one now and one later. we got a couple more windows for tangents.
Okay. Yeah, I can tangent anything. Poop? Yeah, let's do it. Any case, so I'm reading A Court of Roses and Thorn, or a Kotar, and in that one, the Fae, fairy elf creatures, like the main character, one of the main characters is already like 800 years old. Too long. Too long to go to Jacob's point. Like, and then in the first book, they like a group of them have been in prison for 50 years. That's nothing. Like, yeah, it's horrible and whatnot, but like,
that's a weekend.
When you actually sit down, because I have to give it to the author, Sarah, I forget her last name, but she did a lot of great world building for those. But in the scope of time, I think 50 years is nothing when they've already lived 800 years. It's like a weekend at most.
That's why Zanog's punishment was reduced.
Yeah. And that's where I do think like if something has a perspective of potentially living 1,000 to 2,000 years, their motivation, going back to the dragons, their motivation to like jump in or do something is greatly reduced. They're like, this will all pass. Don't like, this is nothing in the blink of an eye. Your cities will fall and I'll still remain. So more logic as to why the dragons don't do anything. I don't know how how long they live in your world, but yeah.
Too long.
Yeah. But yeah, people should read a Kotar. It's good. It gets saucy.
Is it actually good?
Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised.
Because
my wife's been all over that.
It also helps that I read it with my partner aloud, so we both do the voices, and it makes it fun. I think if I was to read it by myself, I don't think I would read it as quickly. I think I might put it down, but doing the voices helps, and like, being Tamlin, who is a piece of work, but like, no, Farah, you must stay in my manor, and then the main character's Farah, and then being like, but I want to go help the city. I must help them. I must rebuild. It's like, no, and then you have other characters. I'm not going to do an audio drama here.
Tangent done.
Come on.
I'm cutting you
Tangent done.
off.
The
We're not
we were-
here to talk about
We were
a
talking
KOTOR.
about notable locations.
So notable
summer court.
locations. Notable locations. To that point of the summer court.
Oh,
I
no.
agree. I agree. Cities. I agree. Cities and Terry's. However,
Yes,
I
thank
think that since we have to do like a resource building this season,
you.
I think that discovering
Yes.
ruins of places, like
Yes.
it could be the ruins of the summer court. Like this was previously a section of Ediphos that no longer is protected by the stone. You know what I mean? Like
Like
maybe
it-
the stone's
yeah, I
power
like
is
that.
weakened or something.
Yeah.
I like
You
that.
know, I like the idea of that. Of like, let's go see places and things that kind of build the world lore a little bit more.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was hoping with the Wanti is that they're like, yeah, it's not just to spread being Wanti, but like they know where certain things are.
Yeah.
Because how the logic of their rulers are is that they have perfect memory, and they tell each other everything. So very few things are written down. So like their leaders know secret locations that like no one else knows that are
Yeah.
pre everybody, and they're
Mhm.
like, if this town doesn't know that underneath it there's this thing or right by it, but it's too close for us to just go there because we get
Yeah.
attacked. So we need to take over the town, which is easier, or subvert it.
I I really love the idea in my head now of us coming back to the Wanti campaign. And that exact scenario, like, if the town doesn't know about the latch that leads into the sewers, and then we show up and the latch is boarded up, like magically welded to the wall. It's like, oh, they know about the latch that leads into the sewers.
No, it's just bad construction practice. You know, we saw a latch here, just painted right over it.
Oh man, but yeah, stuff like that. That's what I would like to see more of in Vimros. 'Cause I feel like Vimros is like when you look at our planet size, it's like such a big chunk of the planet. Like it's the whole like the whole roughly western, eastern. I can't remember my sides of my compass road. The whole like rows. The whole western side of the planet is Vimros. We have a whole other hemisphere. You know what I mean? So I
I
like
think you're
the idea
thinking
that
of
there's-
my last campaign, because the last one was 2 halves. Vimros is still a good chunk, but we gotta maybe talk about scope again. Because world's
Look,
gonna
I'm
be...
just going off the scope you gave me.
You're
I think
right,
I have
man.
writing.
Do you?
Come
That's
on,
fine.
Josh. We can
There's
definitely
a-
make the scope bigger, but either way,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Vimros is pretty big,
Yeah.
and it gets made to be kind of small because of where we've been. Like we've moved around a lot at Vimros.
Yeah.
You know, so I'd like to see more of like the little places that like the little hidey hole. Like
Just off the road place. Yeah, that's great.
yeah.
While we're talking about exploring off the road, there's something I told James before you got here that I had thought about traveling the Outlands. The way we were handling the dice rolls when you travel it. Yeah. So what it will be from now on, for now on, we'll test it out. If you spend a day in the Outlands without a Terry or without a safe place to sleep, you roll. We're gonna do a survival check for now, and you have to roll under your level, and you won't be exhausted. If you roll over your level, is that how we want to do this? I was gonna do a plain D20, so the higher your level is, the less chance. We'll
Well,
figure
yeah,
it out.
you were saying a plain D20. You also
Yeah.
talked about potentially allowing us to use survival, but then at the
That
same
would work
point, that would
against you.
just make it, yeah, it would work against,
Yeah.
unless you allowed us to use whatever our survival was instead of a plus, be
Yeah.
a minus.
Yeah.
Well,
As long as I
yeah.
don't roll, we're good.
I mean, I'm the only one I think who can roll because I think I'm the only one who has survival as a proficiency.
+8.
+8 to survival.
Yeah, I'm a
That's nice.
Pathfinder.
Yeah, that's great. That's a good one. So
Yeah.
we'll figure it out, but I want it to the DC be based off your level.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
what level are we again?
12?
We also could do it like a cumulative, like it's all 3 of our levels put together, so 30, and we have to roll.
Yeah,
We
'cause
all roll
you are
survival.
you are working together. Yeah.
Yeah, and we all roll survival, and
Yeah.
we have to beat it.
Yeah.
So like if I got a 20 and then Jacob got a 10,
Yeah.
done,
we hit it.
easy.
Right. And so that the actual math will. I like everything we just said. Not important to be on stream. If your face value of your die equals your level, that's going to be a special event, a not so random
Ooh.
event. Kind
A
of
randomly generated, not so random event.
Pretty much, yeah. It'll be a random event, but nothing's truly random. But yeah, that's. I just wanted to tell you that. As
Yeah,
well,
I like
Jacob,
that.
idea. Because the other way, I was like, this is just like nonsense random. Like doesn't feel earned. Doesn't
Yeah.
feel.
Well, in the
It didn't feel like it represented anything other than random.
we didn't have a lot of time to talk about it after the session.
Yeah.
We talked about some other stuff. We didn't have a lot of time to talk about that. It felt so. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I was just hoping that you guys would let me know what levels of exhaustion I had at the end
Yeah.
of that whole situation. It was interesting though. But that's how you learn. That's how we had to try things.
Yeah.
You know?
Trial and error.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
like how we tried Daggerheart.
we try to run away, but it's just such an easy punching bag.
It really is.
It's
I
low
got
hanging fruit.
two more main things I want to talk about. One's going to
Let's
be
hit it.
the theme and tone of Venture into Vimmeros. What do you guys think the tone is, and where do you think it should be?
I think I inadvertently lighten up the tone with Bex, but I think this version of me or this character is going to maybe be more serious. But as far as the overall like adventure gameplay, it's hard to tell because I know that we're also all having fun, so we all joke a little bit more.
Yeah, we have fun in general.
Yeah.
The tone of the setting.
I feel like the tone of our setting, I wouldn't say is serious by any means. I feel like we tried to go the roughly grimdark way at first, you know, but
Yeah.
that doesn't really fit us as a group.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I feel like not mid grade, that's not the right word. Young adult fantasy is kind of where we sit at. You know what I mean? Like there's some more suggestive tones. You can have
Yeah.
we can have a sexual encounter. We can have a little bit of gore. But we're not going like deep into it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We're not explaining how everything works for you, you know what I mean?
We're not like Tamlin sheathing himself.
Exactly. Wait, come on, kids. Go.
Nice.
Yeah. I think that we could still have things that are like dark or scary or whatever, but I think that we would default probably to trying to find a humor in it. So even
Yeah.
if we
Yeah.
do have
Because even
something
when the
that's-
world itself is dark, the player
Yeah.
characters, the players, would be like,
yeah.
which is great. That's the type of heroes we need in Vimmeros right now.
Yeah.
Because the general public of Vimmeros either don't know the bad stuff that's going on, or they're consumed by it. So good.
Sorry, she feels like talking with us tonight, so I
That's
figured
good,
I might as
yeah.
well put her in frame.
Oh, good.
I hope she brought a character sheet and a D20.
She has a D20 with her face on it.
That's awesome. Nice. My last little topic's gonna be a fun one, or at least it should be. What do you think would be good plot hooks or adventures that would take place in this place? Like if one of you were to DM in this setting, what do you think would be a fun thing to go through? I mean, although UNT did happen, but obviously
I'll go-
Ormus would be a good one. Sorry,
I'll go
you got
last.
it. You go last.
Yeah.
I'm doing the ones because Let me think. I would like to hit up like the little island jumping off the coast of Argos.
Yeah.
Sounds like a fun little adventure hook.
I kind of go back and forth. Like, part of me would love to do the founding of Vimros.
Yeah,
Like when it was Nolmeros.
the big rewind. Yeah.
But another part of me would like to play like 5 years ago. You know what I mean? Now that we're 10-year jumping.
Oh yeah. The little
5
middle
years
point.
ago,
But with what
being
characters?
like-
Do you mean?
well, like being again, this is me being slightly narcissistic, I guess. But being like on the ship building, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As like they're trying to figure out how to make more ships go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And being a part of that crew of people who's like, you know, we just sent a ship into space on accident. You know what I mean? Like, they're not coming back. You know?
We did not,
I would love
did
to be
not
a
load
part
them
of
up with
those.
Featherfall. So from now on, every ship has a Featherfall scroll
Yeah.
Like,
in like an emergency box.
We put way too much magic into that rune. They are never gonna stop. You know what I mean? Like, I'd like
Yeah.
to play one of those two settings.
That's
'Cause
fun.
I feel like it'd be fun, you know?
I
I've
think
been
as
thinking
far
about-
as like,
You go ahead.
no, I said I'd go last. So
Okay, I'll go right now. I've been thinking about putting together something for like the origin, but it'd have to be like I build your character sheet. So I feel like that takes some fun out of
Mhm.
it.
Not necessarily. I think it could still be fun with pre-made characters.
Because there's the 6 main
I'd be down.
heroes. Pick one.
Yeah.
And like your attribute score, if you chose to be Ediphos, is like your strength is equal to 30.
Oh my god.
Like your level 17 or higher, your strength is equal to 30, or whatever attribute you choose. But like the charisma 30 paladin or charisma 30, well, warlock. Anyways, that's all. That's what the original setting would look like.
No, I think that'd be a
Uh,
ton of
yeah.
fun, personally.
yeah,
Okay, all right. I gotta whip up some level 20 character sheets now.
I would say I don't know how many level 20 games you've done, but
I'm sure
there
it's
are no
crunchy as hell.
D&D. They're crunchy, and also like none of the D&D monsters are built for 20th level. Even
Oh
the
no,
Trask.
I'd build
It's-
Ogratis and a Horde separate also.
Yeah, it's 100% homebrew environment, and really like doing the
Yeah.
environmental stuff that Ogratis
Yeah.
probably can do,
Yeah,
because he should be like a demigod, I think, or he
essentially, yeah.
basically is. Yeah,
Yeah.
because he's almost like our version of Vecna, but more fun for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it feels like a more realistic Vecna, personally. Like, this feels like someone who built themselves up and has continued to keep themselves alive, like, on their own merit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this could be just my loose understanding of Vecna. But my understanding of Vecna was that Vecna was like a prodigy and then just found a bunch of magical items. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas Ogratis feels like wasn't necessarily a prodigy, but figured shit out and built themselves up. Like, they don't. At the end of the day, Ogratis doesn't really feel like a true villain as much as someone who just wants to have the power to themselves. Like a Joker or something like that, you know what I mean?
That's hot.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Josh, you can't
I-
answer too much.
I know I can't say oh, getting there.
I think as far as like, because you said like plot hooks or other things, not necessarily
Like, if
just
you were
settings.
to build an adventure, or what do you or watch an adventure, even if you're just
Yeah.
part of the audience, what do you think's a fun adventure that could exist in this setting?
I mean, I'm always a fan of level 0 characters, opposite
Mhm.
end, where
Ooh.
you know the maiden came in, right, and you're just a baker, whatever,
Yeah.
and you have to like people are looting, guards are doing whatever, chaos is like you're trying to rummage through there, whether it's a one shot, whether it's kind of like like a little 5 arc campaign thing where it's like you think the guards are your friends. No, they're not. They're just as freaked out as you are. So there's tons of like, are you gonna help me? Are you not gonna help me? Like, and then monsters are coming in, or things that, or like secret things that were hidden in the city got released because the maiden just decided to crash through. So bring back some of those chimera people that you had in the one shot, or other things. Or Agent 15 might have something that they're hiding too, and you just like bring those in as level zeros. And how do you deal with it when you don't have skills, and you like maybe they become level 1 adventurers or something, and they get power as it goes. Would be fun as like its own little vignette story, and that could happen at any of the cities at any time, and change it based off of what's going on.
Nice.
Well, I like the idea that 'cause it gives opportunity also to expound in areas of the world that we might think we understand, but maybe we don't. You know what I mean? Like,
I think that's nuts because we've been playing a setting, like you said, 4 years, and I feel like we just scratched the surface. Like,
yeah. But like, I feel like because we all built it together, like,
yeah, that's true.
we all have an individual like understanding of like I think I know what Agent 15 wants, but what if we play a one shot like that, or a series of one shots like that, and there's actually a whole other goal that just we haven't been introduced to?
Yeah.
Maybe they're the ones funding the chimera people. It's just stuff like that you can really like dig into when you do those kind of one shots.
That, and I think it also expands, going back to like the magic in the world. Like, I wouldn't imagine if I was leading it, like, yeah, you're not just like a baker. You have some, like, let's workshop some magic things that you can do as a magical baker, or a rune infused baker. Like, all your scones have like a special thing on them to help with the flavor and texture or something.
A spore druid, but they focus on yeast.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that would be great.
They have great bread and kombucha.
Yeah.
But yeah, just doing things like that. Aside from that, like, other things I feel like we've barely scratched the surface on is like exploration. We've done like targeted terries, but I think when we did like the forest was cool.
Nice.
That like forest maze, and we were kind of exploring through there. So like more things like that, especially with this one where we're trying to gather resources. Like, if we hear about something, it's perfect to be like, hey, we heard that in the forests off to wherever someone blew up a boulder or whatever, or Terry got exposed and there's a thing underneath. Go scavenge what you can.
That's fun. That's pretty much pretty much one of the first things you're about to get sent to do. We heard there's something over there.
Oh man. When DMs collide.
Yeah. Because that's also like something that I'm doing for my home game. Because we just did the epic adventure where they're like traveling from here to the end of the world, and they wanted something more stationary, so building up a city and having more like city encounters and like slice of life encounters would be interesting. So that way we also understand like what we're actually defending or fighting for, instead of just like fighting for the concept or the idea of peace and security.
Nice.
In my new empire,
everyone will have a piece of pie.
I like that idea though, because it also gives us opportunity to kind of expand on our characters a little bit more too. Like, what if one of our characters, like in the backstory, it's been hard to show it, but what if they have a lover or something? You know what I mean? They have a husband or a wife. You know what I mean? But it's hard to show that in a main like dungeon delving situation.
Yeah.
So introducing that to the audience and these like more, okay, well, you guys don't have anything going on this session but downtime, so let's go through what you guys want to do for this session,
My character has an ex-wife who they had to break up with because they were in a toxic relationship, who she is now a personal trainer. And my character, I was gonna like at some point just start randomly sending money in the mail because I still have to pay alimony.
Oh no.
Alimony and child support.
Everything's going great, but I need to find a mailbox.
Yeah.
Do you guys think the mailboxes in Valmota still work?
Be like, hey Nomi, I need you to send money. Can you next time you're in Argos, I need you to drop this money off for me.
Child support adventurer.
Yeah.
That's great.
No, but like, we're laughing about it because it is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But that is also a funny plot point that like it wouldn't normally come up in like when we're dungeon delving and stuff,
Yeah.
you know?
Stop the dungeon midway. Hey Flumph. Yes.
Yeah.
Can you take this 5 gold pieces out of the dungeon and
Yeah.
go to the closest town and mail it to this person for me? No, but
Yeah,
I'll do it anyway.
A flump with an intelligence of like 3. Negative
I can
4.
figure it out.
They
Yeah.
got it. They got the hat. They got
They
the
got
nice little hat on. They know what they're doing.
The hat of figuring things out.
Oh man, I wish I could remember this
Wondrous
artist's
item.
name.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember this artist's name on Instagram. It's like CME_T or something like that. And they do like D&D style comics. Yeah, CME_T. And they recently started doing a series of comics about medieval, like, or D&D rather, postmasters. So like it's the postal force, and their whole thing is like no matter what they have to deliver the mail. And the one that gets me the most is there's one of them where the guy got eaten by a dragon, and the post office worker's like, "Oh fuck, I guess I gotta go take care." You know, the next scene of it is him like covered in ash, like handing the mail to the guy
Nice.
he just got out of the dragon. I just love it.
That's cool. I like that. That's good. That's a good little chat we had.
I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. I don't remember that character's name.
Fleck?
I don't even think.
Flick?
Oh, what was
Flack.
Fleck.
Flack. Flip. Flip.
Fletch.
Flacken, flipping, fleck, flack.
Alright. Those of you that joined us, thank you. Those of you that are watching the VOD of this, you're legendary. See you next time. As we continue to venture into Vimeros. I was about to just end the stream, but we gotta play the little ditty, so